let's just move ahead to tell you that, when one time I was giving an interview, and what happened is that this interviewer asked me this question, that Mansi, you have got this 5x5 cube with yourself, okay, and you have dipped it in a blue colored paint, then you've brought it back and cut it into pieces, into cubes. Now how many cubes are there which are left uncolored? Okay, so this is the question he asked me. And then I was just about to, count, and I was just counting, and I was just going through the things that were there. And then, what happened is that I was not able to somehow calculate. Okay. And I was getting nervous that, oh, why is it happening to me? Why I'm not able to answer this question? Some of the other kind of nervousness just happened, and I was not able to answer this question. And that was the point I said to my interviewer that I don't know. And I just came out of the interview and thought that, Arey yaar, why did I say that I don't know this answer? And then he asked me, have you ever solved a Rubik's Cube? And then I said no. And then he said that, fine, let's move to another question. So, what does this happen? With my honesty that I don't know this particular answer, with the straightforward approach of telling that I don't know this answer, may I just come back to this, maybe just come back to this question maybe sometime later, or I'll just text you back about this question, maybe on email. This can actually help build a repo, that you acknowledge that I don't know a particular answer, and it is okay to not know a particular answer. Okay, so if I say that, is it okay to say I don't know? Well, it is fine to say that I don't know a certain answer. So what you have to do over here, in the case you don't know that, I don't know about a particular answer, something like that, just tell honestly to the interviewer that I don't know, but at this moment this question is not able to trigger inside me, and not able to solve that at the moment. Can we come this can I come back to you with an answer with this on via email, or maybe via, on LinkedIn? Something similar you can just say. This helps to build save time, and also builds up an honesty, that okay, I'm accepting that I don't know this answer, but I will come back to you with an answer for this. Okay, so for next time, so also one more thing I want to make it clear, don't say I don't know for each and every answer question that your interviewer asks you. Make a barrier. Okay, don't say all the time that I don't know. Or also, what you can say, if you don't know, you can just give a blind guess. I'm not very clear about this question. I'm not very clear about this concept. However, I have read something similar to this. Can I give it a try? You can just ask him that you're not sure about this, but can you give it a try or not? Does that make sense? Can we? Okay, so Dheeraj says the same thing happened when I was in class 12th in Viva. I see, we are all humans. It cannot happen that you know everything. Even the interviewer does not know everything, but the approach, the way that you speak that you don't know, should be very formal, and should be an accepting attitude that you don't know. It should not have been an ego ki nahi main solve karke dikhaunga, mujhe time do. So we have a game. Are we all ready to play the game of yes and a no? Let's get started. Do you think it's appropriate to ask questions about salary and benefits during the initial stages of interview process? So, well, if we consider an ideal interview that is taking place, you should never ever ask about salary in the first interview stage. In the first interview stage, if you are in. Okay, let's talk about the culture, the values, what you bring upon the table, what skills do you have, does it even matches with the job requirements of the company who has posted that particular job, but never ever about salary. Because whenever in the initial stages of your interview, okay, supposedly you have come for the very first interview, you start asking about how much salary will I get, that does not leaves a right impression. When you know it is going to be the first and the last interview, you can put up this point. But if you know that the stages of interview is going to be 2 or 3 or 2 interviews will be taken up, you should never ever ask something like How much money will I get? How much is the CTC? How are the benefits? Will I get the car petrol amount as well? What all will be reimbursed? Will I get the accommodation for traveling? Never. This shows the mindset that you are just working for money, and money is the sole goal why you want to join the company. It is not something you are fascinated by their products, by their culture, by what they are bringing upon the table. And this way, you're not putting up as a perfect candidate that you should be. See, honestly, somewhere at the back of our head, we are doing it for money. And this interviewer also knows well, but why should we have to portray it in the initial stages? Why not at the last stage? See, if we are well fitted for a particular job role, somehow or the other, if you'll ask for 15 lakhs and your skills are good enough, and the HR says, no, I can only afford to give you 12 lakhs, right? They will come up to 15 lakhs somehow if your skills are up to the mark. But never ever put this as a point. Is this valid for freshers? Yes, it is. In case of freshers, if you're coming for companies, right, the company would itself tell you कि मैं 15 lakh दे पाऊंगी या 20 lakh दे पाऊंगी. Itself they will say in the recruit in the job interview rounds. Otherwise, you can go and search on Glassdoor or on websites like LinkedIn, or there are many websites I'm not able to recall at the moment, but I'll let you know later, or if you want to know from where all the sites by which you can know the salary range that is going on in the market. Next question is, a candidate only gets 1 minute to make good impression in front of the interviewer. What is in first impression? So when I came for this particular masterclass, I switched on my video. And in that few seconds, you all must have made an impression of me. मैं बोल पाऊंगी कि नहीं, मैं मेरे पास knowledge है कि नहीं. Even if I just said hello everyone, you must have made an impression of me, isn't it? And that is what made you stay till the end कि इनके पास नॉलेज है कि नहीं, ये बोल पाएंगी कि नहीं, इन्होंने हेलो कैसे बोला, इन्होंने कपड़ा क्या पहना, क्या ये is she prepared or not, is she visually prepared or not, is her the phone, the chat box, everything prepared or not. And you know friends, it takes only 7 seconds to make good first impression in front of an interviewer. That means as soon as you switch on your video, as soon as you say hi, impression has been made. And do you know that first impression is the last impression? It takes years sometimes to change the first impression. Have you heard people saying that, अरे यार मैंने तुम्हारे बारे में ऐसा सोचा था, पर यार तुम तो एकदम ही opposite निकले. Why? Because the first impression had lasted in the mind. So let's move to the next question, that is, do you believe it's acceptance to speak negatively about your previous employer or colleague during the interview? You should never ever speak wrong about any time about your previous company or your colleague. Even if the question comes to you, right, why do you want to leave your previous organization, why you want to leave your current organization, you should never ever say कि अरे यार वो मुझे पे नहीं करती थी, अरे यार मुझे रात भर काम करवाती है, बहुत ज्यादा वर्क हेक्टिक है वहां पर. Never. You should always speak that something similar to, you're very used to the process, you want to have some new opportunities, you want to grow your and expand your skills, but you should never speak wrong about the previous company. That tells your mindset, that tells what you bring upon the table. Okay, so everybody answered correctly. Kudos everyone, you're going right. Is it okay to dress only the upper part as it only is visible for an online interview? But my dear friends, let me tell you the right answer to this is, you should always be dressed formally for an interview, because you never know what your interviewer asks you to do. There was one of my friends who went for an interview. Okay, she was an online interview. She was just wearing her shorts and very formal coat and a top, and very very formally she was looking. Whereas her interviewer asked her to go and switch off. There were two lights that were lit up at the back of her, and he asked her, "Can you go and just switch off one of the lights?" No, instead of giving an excuse that, oh, I cannot go, both the lights are going, you cannot know what your interviewer asks you to do in the interview. So you should be prepared for the worst. And also, dressing up completely gives you a next level of confidence. Let's just talk about confidence. Okay, it's going to give you confidence of what you're going to do, what you're going to speak, right? Which is most important, and how you dress up gives you confidence, and that confidence you can show it up in your interviews. And as you know, what is the most important thing in an interview? It's your confidence, the way you speak, the way you show it in your words, the way you put it up in your hand expressions, the way you dress up. Everything speaks, because it takes just 7 seconds to make your first impression. Can we have some thumbs ups in the chats and the smileys in the chat, please, if you guys are along with me till here? Because the best thing that you can do to win an interview is that you can drive the interview. And to drive the interview, you know what you have to do? You have to do those 3 P's. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for this session.